Charge, myself at 6th, Yiska at 7th, Joe at 8th, for an aggregate of 7th. Let's talk a little bit about this team, and we're going to do that by, I think, talking about probably, and this is the team that I didn't get to like spend. I was even talking to Joe. I was like panicking. It was like 40 minutes before the show starts. I'm like, Joe, I've been up all morning. I've been trying to get all my thoughts together, and I'm like, I ran out of time for Guangzhou. And so, but I do know this, and I know that, Joe, you are super high on Cr0ng.
Yeah, I think it does not get talked about enough. I think this team in general doesn't really get talked about enough. I was very wrong in my season 2 estimate of this team. I like a lot of pieces on this roster. I think my gut is still hesitant to put them higher for a lot of the same reasons I had them last year, but that they proved me wrong then. So I believe that they should do that now. I like the coaching staff. They just signed Creed from Shanghai Dragons. And if he has anything to do with their stage 3 run, I think that should be a sizable bonus for this team, who already had like a pretty surprising, strong strategic mind. They were quick to get off the GOATS hype train. They started to play a lot more DPS and control. They started to play Sombra. They started to play Doom a little bit. Some of those strategies didn't necessarily work, but they were quick to get off it because they knew they were not going to beat some of the best teams. And I mark that as a strong point. But if you look at each member of this roster in a vacuum, I really do like it. Maybe outside of Chara, Cr0ng, sizable upgrade over Hotba, and just a bunch of just individually talented players. Can they come together? They did last year for the most part. Definitely peaking in Rollock. This season should be much of the same way. I think this team's going to do very, very well.
They did have the great strategic coach in Cr0ng, whose jersey is for sale by me because he's not with them anymore. But do you think that factored at all into how well they did at the end of the season?
Definitely. That definitely helped them along. But I don't think that losing him is a death knell. I think that they'll do okay. I think they'll definitely make do without. But yeah, exciting team to keep your eye on. I think this is the year, barring any kind of crazy nonsense happening in Asia. This is a team that I think people are really going to start to double down on and become fans of. I think Shu is criminally underrated. I think I've swayed enough opinions with Twilight. I think it's time for Shu to get his time in the spotlight because people are just completely sleeping on him. I think he's one of the best.
Yes, what do you think about Guangzhou?
We got team, right? Cr0ng. I think their DPS line is really solid. With some question marks, but it's fine. I think they still have a potential. It's hard for me to, of course, like rank the Chinese or like Waya in that regard. Like how is he pronounced?
Ouya, like oolong.
Ouya. Okay. Yeah, that's a hard one.
Psychology.
Not that it matters much, to be honest.
Say the P.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm asking. But I think neptuNo Shu could be very good as a backline.
Yes. Especially if we're going to see BAP. I think neptuNo and Harry Hook have this weird crackpot theory that two former players that have had success in very aim heavy heroes or games. I think they could pick up BAP pretty quick.
I'll say though, if I had to evaluate my pick, it's either stay or lower. From what I know now.
That's fair.
That it?
I think it's a strong team.
It's just a good, it's just a good team. They didn't, they're not changing. I mean, they're changing quite a bit, but I don't know, just kind of like the overall identity of the team doesn't feel like, if you watched them last year, I feel like you kind of know what to expect this year.
I'd like to see another main tank. It's not that I think Rio is bad. I think Rio is another person that's like kind of slept on, very flexible, played a lot of different heroes, looked okay, looked serviceable. You know, something that can't really be said about a lot of tanks. They always have that one character that's just like, maybe we don't put him on that guy. Rio does it all and does it all pretty well. I'd like to just see them build out that depth. That's my fatal flaw with Charge. I want to see a little bit more depth at tank. Cr0ng's good. Rio's good. Give me somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to see. This is, I think, one of the teams where you just kind of got to trust the paper on this one. It's a little hard to.
I think that their DPS in general is kind of how I'd like to build a hypothetical team. You have a hyper specific player in Happy. If there's a Widow, you're going to put Happy in and he's going to just dominate, right?
Yeah.
You have Nero, who is a lot more flexible, has a specific hero in Farah, but can flex to a lot of different things. Played a Mei. I wasn't super big on his Mei, but seems like he's been getting better at it. And Eileen, again, not a colorless flex, but very flexible, solid player. Not somebody who I don't think is going to blow people away, but has a specific hero in Doomfist, has a Farah, Sombra to a degree. Good player. I really like how they've set up their DPS. I think it's good. Very, very good. Well structured.